Hello, I'd like to show you Imagine. Imagine is made mostly from artwork of mine, watercolors, watercolor pencil drawings that I've done and then scanned. This one here I did a few years ago, but I never painted it. So what I did is I scanned it so that I can paint it different colors at different times if I want to. I can just use another copy of it. And I fussy cut it and decoupaged onto here, which is cereal box that's been covered with old book pages and then painted with gesso and covered with Mod Podge and stitched after I put together the other side, the fabric and the watercolor paper that I put on the inside. But before we get there, I should do some measurements here. Imagine is almost 7 3/4 wide. She's bigger than my usual journals, and 10.5 tall. She has a dangle that I made for her, some vintage buttons. It's removable. There's a bulb pin holding it on through a grommet hole, and it has some fabric beads, paper beads that are covered with fabric. They feel like hard as a rock, but so they're gonna last as long as this journal does, and that's a long time. There's a lot of pages in here to write things in or add your own artwork or pictures that you've collected. Lots of beads. You'll notice the colors. I purposely chose colors that go with the journal. And there's a little bit of fabric that hints at some of the fabric that's inside. It also goes with the watercolors. The spine is covered in lace, and it is 2 inches wide, just over 2 inches. She's pretty chunky. If I squeeze her tight, I can get her down to 2, but comfortably she's at around 3. Show you the back too. Similar to the gallery journal that I made, but only similar because this one is different than all of the other ones as well. Like gallery, it's unique. So here's the fabric I was alluding to that the beads are made out of. And this is a watercolor paper of mine I put down inside and on the back as well. Writing space on the inside, and as well as on this little bit of watercolor. So I did a little challenge with this one, and that was I wanted to see if I could create a journal pretty much using my own artwork, my own butterflies, my own stencil papers, and of course doing some stamping and adding some lace and things. And I pretty much did, so you'll see as we go through it. This was an idea that I got from Kathy's Garden, but I didn't follow her directions exactly because sometimes I just watch part of a how-to video, and then if it inspires me to make my own thing, then I stop watching it and I go make my own thing. And that's what I did with this one. I highly recommend watching her videos if you ever need some inspiration, just to get started, maybe on working on a journal that day or making some things to put in it. Some tea-dye paper here. This little envelope I made out of some of my own paper that I stenciled with watercolor and dyed with tea. A little card, Yeah, he's inviting whoever gets this journal to do their own artwork in it too. Maybe you can put your name there. And these little flowers, they're all the way down and underneath this too. They were inspired by a tutorial by Shada Campbell. She does really good tutorials. Makes it feel like you can do it. And here we've got a little journaling card. Tuck in there. And you can write on the back too. A little bit of sewing. One of my butterflies on there too. It was fun to cut up some little pictures too. And add them here and there. Lots of stamping in this book today. Little journal space, tea-dyed paper. It's nice writing paper. I think it originally came from Woodward's. A little bit of lace and one of my own little flowers that I did. I learned how to do that from Kathy's Garden. Lace is coming apart there, so yeah, it's cotton. Lots of character. Couple of butterflies. Everything is beautiful. From a vintage music book. Another thing inspired by Kathy's Garden. But I don't think she made it into a flip. And I decorated, of course, the way I decorate too. Leave. My little index card there. Some buttons. Oh, this is adorable, this one. Vintage one. One of my little butterflies. And then you can write here, of course, and in here. Another watercolor of mine. Stamping. Oh, this is a great backdrop for writing on or for doing a collage on. And that was a rose. I remember drawing that from one of the ones from our garden, and I'm hoping it'll do better this year. It didn't have a rose last year. Yeah, they need to be well fed and have lots of sunshine. Mine has not as much sunshine as it would like, and it has competition. This I did from a picture that I had taken. This is a picture I took. It's from our magnolia tree. Oh, I just love her. She's a big old tree, and she looks nice all year long. So on the back, it's tea-dyed and it's writing space. Yeah, she's a beautiful old tree. It's the first tree that my grandson learned to climb. And this kind of suits the botanical theme because it reminds me of a mushroom. One of my butterflies. Nice journaling card. Little card here. And a rose. That might also be inspired by one of my roses. This one here flips, so you can write on the back here, on here, here, and here. And it's paper that I dyed. Oh, I don't always remember how I dyed things, but I think I might have dyed that with beets. Some more of my watercolor. Great backdrop for a collage, or it's light enough that you can write on it. A little tuck there. Cluster. Vintage button. Some lace. In the center of the signature. I had fun. This almost looks like looking out at cafe curtains in the dining room or kitchen and seeing butterflies outside. But they're actually journal cards. And you can tuck more things in there. You can write in here. You could write under there too. And there are two charms. A heart and a leaf. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day. I almost forgot it was Valentine's Day. I had a card ready in my little suitcase I have in my bedroom, and I had trouble sleeping last night. I was awake at 3:30, so I came into here to get my phone to turn the alarm off so it didn't go off while I was busy in the den. And I saw a card on my desk and went, oh, and then I remembered, oh yeah, it's Valentine's Day. So then I went and got the card and wrote what I wanted to write in it, and so it was ready for when my husband woke up later. So if I seem a little hesitant, it's because I'm not fully here today. I'm doing a little bit of sleepwalking, I think. There's a picture I drew from a rose that climbs on one of our fences. I think it's called I don't know its botanical name, but a rock rose is its common name. It's lovely and has a lovely fragrance. Waterfall. My own papers that I learned how to color. This was with grapes from our garden. And this is actually a scan of it because the grape paper, I didn't strain the grapes very well, so it's very gritty. So this is actually a scan, but I thought it was too nice not to use. The colors are just rich. And this one, I think, might have been the blueberry paper. That's from watercolor, that's from beets, and that's from food coloring. And a vintage button. One of my butterflies there and there. Had some fun doing some editing, did some stamping on it as well, and then I did watercolor on it. And then with the editing program, I was able to do a kind of the reverse on the color. So instead of the pattern being dark, it's white. And I thought this goes nice with the teapot. And this was a teapot picture that I painted from a photograph I took at a demonstration garden. Oh no, it wasn't a demonstration garden, it was a Philburg Park. Yeah, they often have a bouquet sitting on their table. So that's where I took a picture of that, and then I drew it because I love teapots and I love flowers. This one here, I showed in a recent tutorial how to make this. So it's the video just before this one, I think. And I don't remember if this was one I completed in time. But there's a couple more in here. This shows you how you can really dress up a page. Like this is a good writing page here. And then it's nice to have a focal point. Oh, this is definitely the focal point of this page. It's a paperclip as well, Ulta paperclip. And it holds, paper in place, or card, or whatever you want. On the other side, it's just the paperclip and holds something in place. Journal card. And this was another idea where I didn't watch the whole tutorial. In fact, I didn't even end up using it all like how Kathy and Kathy's Garden used it. I just saw the beginning of the video and then I went, oh, I know what I want to do. And so this is what I did. So I used some of my own dyed paper that I'd done with doilies, and I put a vintage button here, glued some cotton trim here, and this goes like this to show you that you can write inside here. You can write on the cards. That was supposed to go this way. You can write on these little tags. I can also pull these out and write on them. And also, it's a tuck spot underneath here. There, you can just put paper under there. There's lots of pockets in this book, and like even this one doesn't have anything in it, so there's extra space in here for more goodies. Tea-dye paper here, tuck spot here with this little cutie with some vintage rickrack. Look at the stamping there. Imagine, this is how this book came to get its name. This junk journal was. I just finished stamping this and I was listening to a podcast, and I told the story I think in the last video, and in the podcast it was about someone picking their word for the year, and I was intrigued because okay, I wonder what they pick for a word for the year. And when they said imagine, I stopped and I looked back at my journal to see what was the last thing I just stamped, and it was imagine. And so imagine as her name, but I mean, whoever has her can change her name. Some lace there, some beads. I thought it went nice with these colors here. So this is writing space on the back too. And it opens up and there's a piece of 140-pound cold press watercolor. It's also used as a postcard, an invitation for somebody to do a little watercolor of their own. They could copy maybe something in here or go on a YouTube and do a tutorial. Some birds. Sometimes the things that you don't expect to turn out the best. So give it a try. And here we have a little card with writing space under here and under here. And if you turn it this way, here and also here. And here's another one of those little altar paper clips that I showed how to make in that tutorial. I added some vintage, very vintage lace there. There's a little pocket here. And it's nice because, again, it gives this section here a focal point, and it holds, if you have like a piece of paper you'd like to keep in place, it does that nicely. And here is vintage playing card, nice flower theme. And there's one of my little pictures made into my watercolors made into a faux stamp. And there's a vintage button here. So there's pockets here as well. So there's lots of room still for more things to be put in here. And this is a little journal card. One of my butterflies on. A little bit of fabric that's left over from here. One of my watercolors. Some vintage trim. And I even included the little bit of tape because it was a brand new package, but literally because it's so old, it literally fell apart, the packaging. But the ribbons or the lace is in good shape. So I thought it'd be interesting to include this because that's, who knows how old that is. A little bit of tape that was holding it on to the new package. Another tuck spot, another little place to write here. And I made this out of, not getting it in the right place there. There we go. I made this out of those little cupcakey things. It came in a package of a tin of cookies. And I had put the cookies into the cookie jar, and then I had all these, and I thought, what do I do with these? Do I recycle them? And then I went, nope, I dye them, and then I flatten them, and then I use them for junk journaling, of course. Yes, here's another tuck spot here, another pocket. Some stamping. Lots of writing space in this one. Here's another one of those little butterflies that you can write all over the place on that one. So I don't know if you noticed, but the first section kind of pinks, and then it goes into lots of yellows and green. This was a picture I did 9 years ago. I love flowers and I love coffee in moderation. Yes, I might have to have a half a cup at lunch today instead of just tea, but we'll see. Stamping, more stamping, vintage trim here, stamping, little cluster there with the button and lace and ribbon, and it's also a little mini journal book. Another one of these, like I made from the Kathy's Garden tutorial. And it also has a index card as a journal card. Little card here, tag to write on. Oh, these are blooming in my garden right now, crocuses. It always feels like it's too early when they show up, but then I look on the calendar and I see, oh no, they were there last year too at this time. I just love them. Little pansy stamp. Another one of my little mini drawings I did from a tutorial. Watercolor. Stamping. Tea-dyed paper. This was a drawing I did, how many years ago was that? 2016, of an autumn leaf, maple leaf. And in the middle of this signature we have a leaf and a heart. I guess I got a theme going on here. Some stamping, lots of journaling space or collage space, art space. Another little watercolor of mine. Journaling card. I think it opens up. Yes, it does. But I like how this one died. Some colors ran from other things I was dyeing. Oh, love that look. And a little butterfly. And journaling space on the back as well. Nice crinkle paper here. One of my butterflies on. Stamping. Another little simple drawing that I did. Well, actually, it was a watercolor that I drew over top of. It wasn't very good quality paint. I was playing around downstairs and dining room table with my grandson paints. He thinks it's funny that I always paint flowers. He thinks that's sweet. And he paints well. What do little boys paint? He paints more adventurous things than flowers. But sometimes he does flowers. Dream. Little journal card there. The really old paperclip. That one didn't need to decorate that up. He's just lovely the way he is. Another little watercolor notebook made from scrap bits of my paper that I've watercolored. Lots of space for putting things in here. And lots of journaling space. I even left this printing that was on there because this piece here, you feel it's stiffer than most of the rest of them. It's from an old book. And in this one, we have a vintage card, a very old one. Little butterfly. It's just simple little, you can tear these out or just write in them where they are. Simple little journaling space there. Vintage button. Now we're going into the greens. This one has a little card as well. And this is from a bouquet that I did, flower arrangement, in an old teacup and saucer that I have. Got the idea from the place where I often take flower pictures, this demonstration gardens. They had that at their place, and then so it got me thinking, oh, I have a little frog, I can stick it inside my teacup and do that. That's from a recent little sketch that I did, or watercolor, and then I sketch over top. Stamping. Here's an awesome place to write a little verse or quote or a word, or put a picture. And there's vintage trim on here too. And this is another one I did recently. I did this while I was hanging out with my grandson. It was raining out, so we did some watercolors together. And this is a recent stamp that I just got from a thrift store haul. I was driving somebody somewhere for an appointment, and so I went to a nearby thrift store while I was waiting. Got some things I really, really like. Tuck spot. journal card, lots of places to write. And I made this little here envelope into a belly band. And it has a piece of tea dye paper in it, I think. Scared to use my right hand because my thumb's been dry because we've had sunny, cold weather, and then my skin gets really dry, so I don't want to get a paper cut on a paper cut that's already there. Oh, yep. I should probably not push it in so far. So we'll pull that out. That's why it's good to do what I've done here. You know how the flap, there's room between here and here, like that. That's good because that way you can pull it out and leave it out. Yeah, we won't push it in all the way. There. One of my little butterflies made into a full stamp, some lace, and belly band. Another little spot here to journal. This is called bokeh, when you take a picture and you get these kind of droplets of water that catch the light. Well, I was trying to capture that with my watercolor, but yeah, that's what that's about. And there's a picture I've shown in one of the other journals that I made. It's a watercolor I did of our house. Like right now, there are crocuses in the driveway, in the lawn, because we have a circle round in our driveway, and there's crocuses and snowdrops galore on it right now. Leaves, another little place to write a couple of words. A cute old card. Makes a nice little hidden spot to write. Watercolor. Hummingbird. I actually saw one a couple of days ago in the garden, and I don't know what he was thinking, but we stared at each other for a bit. They're so beautiful, and he was doing the thing, you know, where his throat goes. I think it was it red? There's different ones that we have here, but anyways, it was flashing his color at me and just hovering in front of me, and I was looking at it, making little noises, and yeah. Anyways, then he flew away. A heart and some leaves on this one. So we've got a heart and leaf theme for the center's charms. And I forgot to mention, this is a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So I'm trying that on the bigger journals just to see if it makes them more secure. I think it does. It's a little harder, it's a little more work. This was from a picture I took of a miniature birdhouse on someone's fence post. They had one on each fence post. It was adorable. This reminds me, one of our wisterias needs pruning. They say it's always a good time to prune them. It's true. All right, another one for the green one. So we've got index card in here, blank on the back, except for the letter F, and a little button that I don't know if it's shell, but it definitely looks like it. And another journaling card. Some cotton decor here with a little shiny button that goes with the green on this page. And a little journaling card. A little cluster made with a button that also matches those. You can bring that up closer, you can see that. These buttons are so pretty. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to come very clear for you to see, but no harm in trying. Journaling card. Some more flowers. Stamping. Another one of those little butterfly cards, like the other ones, except it's a different color. And on this side is one of those little booklets. Alter paperclip. Makes a great focal point on a page. And it has some vintage lace there and some shiny gauzy fabric there. I don't remember what you call that. My grandson noticed it the other day. It's such a cheerful color, you can't help but notice it. Very spring-like. I think this book is very spring-like. It's funny, it's almost spring, and the next one I'm working on after this is not a spring-like one, but maybe I'm just judging it prematurely. I've only just started it, but I feel like I'm craving some warm colors too, because, you know, it's not quite spring yet. And that was a watercolor I did from some oxalis or wood sorrel that grows in our garden. Oh, I love them. And I'm really hoping some ones I transplanted and put in pots, I'm hoping they overwintered, because I didn't get them all planted in the ground. Because I'm not really sure what the best spot is. Because one spot where I planted them, they did okay. But yeah, I'm hoping that they'll do well when I do decide on a spot. And I thought it'd be nice towards the end here to mention Imagine again. And she's holding a tulip. And this is one that I did recently. Thinking, is that one I just did while I was hanging out with my grandson? If it is, and wow, it's getting easier to do crafts with him because he has a longer attention span as he's getting older. He actually asked me to make him a cat junk journal because he saw the one I have. It's for sale on Etsy, and he said, I would like a cat junk journal too. So I did start one. I said, well, you know, they're a lot of work, so I don't think I can just make it all in one sitting here. So I started one, and yeah, he got restless, and we ran off, and we did something more appropriate. We did some Lego instead. But I did start it, and I did pick some pages for it, and I just found some really cute stickers we can put in, some cat stickers. So yeah, maybe I'll work on that the next time he's over for a few minutes, and thinking I should maybe just finish it and then surprise him with a finished one, because I do have more cat stuff because I've been collecting it. So I think I have enough to do it for him. It'll just be a little mini one. It's going to be about probably 5 by 4, but I think it's got a 2-inch spine or 1.5-inch spine. I hope you're having a peaceful day, a lovely day, and a creative day. And I hope this inspires you to, yeah, imagine maybe new ideas that you can do in your crafting space. Or maybe you just have a table that you craft on. Yeah, it wasn't very long ago I literally had to do all my crafting in my bedroom. We were sharing our house with another little family, and so yeah, I'm surprised what you can do when you've got the want to. And now I get a whole room to craft in, but before it was just a little corner in the bedroom, and it worked. That's where I first started junk journaling. Take care. Bye.